Maybe there's something I didn't think was necessary to tell you.
Pernell Elvin Roberts Jr., born on May 18, 1928, in Waycross, Georgia, came into a world that was very different from today. It was the era of the Great Depression, and life was hard for most people, including his family. His father, Pernell Roberts Sr., worked as a sales manager for Dr. Pepper, while his mother, Minnie Myrtle Morgan Roberts, stayed at home and took care of young Pernell with love and dedication. From a very young age, Pernell showed signs that he was not like most children. While other boys were interested in sports, games, or roughhousing, Pernell was drawn to music, acting, and creative expression. He learned to play the horn in school and enjoyed performing at church events, showing a talent for capturing attention even without seeking the spotlight. These early experiences planted the seed of creativity in him, which later became the foundation for his acting career. He grew up in a small southern town where people valued tradition, hard work, and politeness. But Pernell already had an independent streak. He did not simply follow what others expected of him. Instead, he quietly observed the world around him, forming his own ideas about right, wrong, honesty, and integrity. These values would guide him throughout his life, even when they led him into conflicts with people in Hollywood. After finishing high school, he enrolled at Georgia Tech, intending to pursue a practical career in engineering. He was intelligent and disciplined, capable of excelling in structured academic environments. But he quickly realized that life as an engineer would not satisfy his heart. Numbers and equations could not give him the fulfillment he craved. During this period, Pernell's desire to create and express himself only grew stronger. In 1946, he enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, a decision that reflected both his sense of responsibility and his willingness to serve. He served for 2 years, during which he found ways to maintain his creative life by playing tuba and horn in a Marine Corps band. Music provided him a private outlet and a sense of peace amid the strict military discipline. When his service ended, he returned to civilian life at a moment when he could choose stability or risk following his passion. He decided to pursue his passion. He enrolled at the University of Maryland, where the world of theater began to capture his full attention. Performing in student productions, he discovered a sense of purpose that he had never experienced before. Acting was no longer a hobby or diversion. It became a calling. Pernell decided to leave college behind to dedicate himself fully to acting, even though it meant uncertainty and financial hardship. In the early 1950s, with nothing but determination, a small suitcase, and a desire to succeed, he moved to New York City. The city was a proving ground for actors, a place where dreams could either come true or be crushed. Pernell enrolled at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and spent his days learning the craft while working at night in odd jobs to survive. Life in New York was challenging, often exhausting, but Pernell remained focused. In 1952, his perseverance paid off when he was cast in his first stage role in The Man Who Came to Dinner. It was a small role, and it did not bring him fame, but it proved that he belonged on the stage. From that moment, his career was no longer about recognition or popularity. It was about purpose, dedication, and staying true to himself. Pernell never wanted to chase applause for the sake of it. Acting for him was a path to honesty and self-expression. In the following years, he worked in theater with great intensity, performing demanding roles in productions like Macbeth, The Taming of the Shrew, and Romeo and Juliet. His performances were known for their depth, intensity, and sincerity. People in the theater world noticed his talent and dedication, and by the late 1950s, Hollywood began to take interest. Pernell Roberts was not the type of actor who sought fame or flattery. He sought authenticity and integrity in every role. This combination of talent, discipline, and moral conviction would later shape the way he viewed Hollywood, its stars, and the people he chose to respect or dislike. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Pernell was not willing to compromise his values to gain popularity or wealth. This steadfast approach often set him apart, making him a man admired by some, misunderstood by others, and sometimes feared by those who did not share his principles. Even as he prepared to enter television and film, Pernell maintained the same focus and honesty that had guided him since childhood. He was committed to doing work that mattered, that challenged him as an artist, and that stayed true to the ideas he had developed over years of observation, reflection, and experience. His early life, combined with his natural talents, sense of purpose, and unwavering moral compass, laid the foundation for a career that would be both celebrated and controversial. By the late 1950s, Pernell Roberts was ready to make his mark in film and television. In 1958, he made his feature film debut in Desire Under the Elms, sharing the screen with stars like Sophia Loren and Burl Ives. Even among these Hollywood legends, Pernell's talent shone through. His performance was powerful, restrained, and convincing, showing that he could hold his own with the most established actors. That same year, he appeared in the Western film The Sheepman, stepping into a genre that would become central to his career. But it was in 1959 that he achieved widespread recognition when he was cast as Adam Cartwright, the eldest son on NBC's Bonanza. The show quickly became a national sensation, drawing millions of viewers each week. The Cartwright family became one of the most recognizable fictional families in America, and Pernell's portrayal of Adam stood out. He was calm, thoughtful, and the moral center of the family, a character audiences admired and trusted. However, despite the fame and adoration, Pernell felt conflicted. The scripts often felt shallow, the storylines overly simple, and Adam Cartwright was too narrowly defined for his taste. While the world saw success, Pernell saw compromise. He worried that he was sacrificing the depth and authenticity he valued as an actor. This struggle was not about ego. It was about honesty and artistic integrity. On the set of Bonanza, Pernell earned a reputation as a man who spoke his mind. Unlike some co-stars who were content to follow scripts and collect paychecks, he demanded more. He clashed with producers over weak writing, insisting that his character deserved complexity and moral nuance. These conflicts made him both respected and feared in Hollywood circles. Pernell was never the type to remain silent when something felt wrong. In private, he maintained a list of actors he openly disliked, people whose arrogance, insincerity, or lack of integrity went against his own values. While the public admired him for his calm demeanor, Pernell's private opinions were strong and unyielding. In 1965, at the height of his fame, he made a decision that shocked Hollywood. He left Bonanza. He returned to the theater, where his love for acting had first developed, and chose selective television roles rather than pursuing fame for its own sake. This move demonstrated his commitment to purpose over popularity. Pernell's career after Bonanza included critical successes. such as his role as Dr. John McIntyre in Trapper John, M.D., which introduced him to a new generation of viewers. Yet, even in success, Pernell never compromised his principles. He remained outspoken about people he admired and those he disliked, maintaining the same integrity and honesty that had guided him from his youth. His story is not just one of talent and fame, but of steadfast dedication to values, authenticity, and artistic truth. It is this same dedication that led to personal conflicts with Hollywood figures. Pernell Roberts did not hate frivolously or without reason. His dislikes were based on character, ethics, and integrity. Some actors he considered arrogant or dishonest, and he openly held opinions about them that might surprise audiences. These feuds were not about petty jealousy. They were rooted in deep differences in principles and behavior. Pernell's willingness to act according to his convictions, even when unpopular, makes his life story compelling. It shows a man who prioritized honesty over acceptance, authenticity over wealth, and principles over convenience. His experiences remind us that fame is not always equivalent to fulfillment, and that personal values can sometimes set a person apart in ways that are admired, misunderstood, or even resented. In reflecting on Pernell's career, it becomes clear that his achievements were not only in the roles he played, but in the choices he made along the way. Choices guided by his belief that a life lived with integrity is more meaningful than one lived in pursuit of popularity alone. Pernell Roberts' private list of actors he disliked has become a fascinating aspect of his story, revealing the complexity of his character and the values he upheld. While many stars cultivated friendly images, Pernell did not pretend to like people he found arrogant, dishonest, or lacking moral courage. His dislikes were carefully considered and grounded in experience. Over the years, he interacted with numerous figures in Hollywood, from co-stars to directors, producers, and other actors. In each case, he evaluated their character and behavior according to his own strict standards. When he found someone whose actions conflicted with his values, he did not remain silent. He would distance himself, voice his opinions privately, and sometimes openly express his disdain. These actions often led to tension on sets, in social circles, and in public perception. Pernell's reputation as a man of integrity and honesty grew alongside the perception that he was difficult or stubborn. Yet, this very stubbornness was what allowed him to maintain a career on his own terms. He never compromised just to fit in, and he never acted against his conscience to please others. Hollywood is a place where compromise is often rewarded, and many actors follow trends or popular opinions to advance their careers. Pernell Roberts was different. He valued character over popularity and depth over superficiality. This set him apart, and sometimes created enemies among those who could not accept his principles. His decisions, such as leaving Bonanza at the height of fame, were considered shocking at the time, yet they reflected his lifelong commitment to authenticity. He preferred the stage, selective television roles, and meaningful work over easy recognition. The stories of the actors he disliked, which have emerged over the years, shed light on his personality. They reveal a man who observed carefully, judged fairly according to his own standards, and acted consistently with his beliefs. These feuds were never about pettiness, but about differing visions of honesty, integrity, and professionalism. Pernell Roberts' legacy is not only in the roles he played or the shows